place which, as I've just mentioned, means a lot to me. All right.
They have now supplied a jet. Hello, hi, hope you guys are doing well. You joined me in Spain, a place called Jerez. I haven't spoken about this much, but my first ever job was at a racetrack, and I'll explain more when we get to the racetrack. We're gonna get there, but this is where I had my first ever job. Now, I am back with these. They're Mégane RS's, the new Mégane RS. Renault invited me to come and test this brand new beast. There's a bit of an ugly bin in the way, but first off, I'm going to show you the exterior of the car. There's a lot of people taking photos around, so you may see people in the background, but this is the Mégane RS, and you may remember, long-time viewers, that I had a Mégane GT loan car. Looks-wise, what is different? We've got these new front LED lights, which are actually meant to look a bit like a checkered flag, which was seen on the Clio RS, which I also had long-term loaner. A huge Renault grille, everything blacked out around the front with R.S. badging. Air outlet right here to get air out of the wheel arch, and then when we come back, you just got slightly more beefed up wheel arches. Can't really see on camera too much, but look absolutely lovely. Some more RS badging, Mégane, and then back here the classic Mégane RS dual exhaust central outlet with a diffuser. And some more air outlets here for the rear wheel arch. Looks really, really cool. This is the inside. Two main differences with the Mégane GT. Someone's just nicking my stuff out the boot as we speak. These seats, full Alcantara side hugging seats. These are really, really nice, really nicely designed, but not only that, they're very comfortable. These were pretty much the same in the Mégane GT, but they've been slightly beefed up for the RS. As you can tell, there's also this sort of, well, fake carbon. This is kind of like fake carbon leather stuff. Not sure I'm a fan of this, but I do like the red stitching and the red line on the seatbelt, which is very cool. This, however, is the nicest thing. It is this new steering wheel, which is incredibly thick and has a really nice Alcantara top and bottom lining. It would be quite nice if it went all the way around rather than this perforated leather, but still very nice. It's then also got these paddles, which are lovely to have, and the gearbox is great. I'll get all onto that in a second, but they're just quite far away. I don't know if it's me having small hands, but they feel quite far, and often you want to kind of click them down here, but they sort of just only go up. They don't go down at all, so they feel quite high up. The rest is all exactly the same as in the GT. So not too many differences. It's not as hardcore as you would maybe expect a Mégane RS to be. I mean, you still got a great sound system, sat nav, all of these random, I mean, you've got a head-up display in a Mégane RS. Heated seats, you got all of the comfort aspects that you would hope for in a car. Maybe not the best for those hardcore Mégane RS fans, but if you're using this every day, very good. I think it's about time we actually just see how this thing drives.
Okay, so we're gonna kick off this drive with launch control. Pull both paddles, accelerate, foot on the brake, and here we go. Can you hear that noise? That is what, 280 horsepower from a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine and 380 Newton meters of torque. Feels like. This is the Mégane RS. You guys know about this car, I am sure. It is legendary. It is Renault's legendary hot hatch, which has been going for quite a while now. This is the newest, latest version. And it's quite interesting to be driving this car because it has a lot of new technology. For example, it's got what's called 4Control. That means it's got 4-wheel steering. Now, in this car it's slightly different because some other cars have 4-wheel steering, but anywhere over 30 miles an hour, the 4-wheel steering gets cancelled out. So in this car, the sound is actually so cool. Normally it comes to the speakers, but switch that off so that it's purely exhaust sound. But anyways, the 4-wheel steering in this car, under 60 kilometers an hour, the 4-wheel steering turns in the opposite direction of the front wheels to give you a better turning circle and more maneuverability around town. above 60 kilometers an hour, it turns in the same direction as the front wheels at a smaller angle and helps you have more maneuverability and sort of control on twisties like we're doing right now. It also gives you just a bunch more traction and helps carry you out of corners. It's really quite impressive. I'm not gonna lie, the other reviews I've seen, everyone's been raving about it. I don't know if it's the full control or it's just the steering, but there's something slightly dead feeling about the steering and about just the way it handles. I feel like there's something missing in the steering, for me at least. Now that may have to do something to do with the weight. This car is quite heavy, and for a Mégane RS, it doesn't feel as hardcore as maybe you would wish. You've got heated seats, you've got a sat-nav view, you've got a head-up display, as I mentioned. So it's not quite as hardcore as you'd expect. It is definitely a car you could use every day. And there's a little button down here where you can switch to different driving modes. There's a ton of driving modes in this car. There's comfort, neutral, sport, race for the track. And it is one of the few cars where it actually makes a massive difference what mode you're in. So in comfort, this car is so comfortable and you can cruise over. It's more harsh, of course, than the Mégane GT I used to have, but still, for a hot hatch like this, it doesn't feel like you're riding a skateboard. In sport, however, it gets very stiff and it makes a big difference, and that's quite cool. It also changes the exhaust sound, which is rather lovely. Obviously, 5-door, 4-seat hot hatch, and 280 horsepower means it's not the most powerful in its class. It's also not the most wild looking. It's kind of in between, and they've tried to make it with the 4-wheel steering and things like that, so that even though you're maybe not the fastest in a straight line, you can catch up around the corners. And that's what it's all about with a car like this. You don't want to necessarily have too much power because you're just going to understeer everywhere the front-wheel drive. This car actually feels manageable. That is on the road, however. Right now we've got the 6-speed dual clutch automatic car with what's called the sport chassis, so no limited slip diff. You can get, right now it's not currently available, but you will be able to get a manual limited slip diff race chassis car, and that's what we're going to try out on track.
Well, this is the track. It is called Jerez, and the reason this is important to me is my first job, I'm not sure I've mentioned this before, was for Mercedes Formula 1. I was analyzing data for them, and I was sent here during the F1 testing way back when Schumacher was coming back for his first year. Came to this track, first time I'd been to a proper track, and saw the F1 cars, and now I'm going out in the Mégane RS.
Mégane RS, Jerez racetrack, a place which, as I've just mentioned, means a lot to me, alright? No matter how much it means to me, still means I have no clue where this goes. Right, we're in the Mégane RS with a manual gearbox now, and the race chassis. What does that mean? That means that this chassis is 10% stiffer than the sport chassis. It's an option, and we have a limited slip diff and a manual gearbox in this one, which is very good fun. Very short throw gearbox. Now, how does this car feel on track? A track which I do not know at all. As soon as you brake hard, it's got this Ferrari-like thing where it puts the hazards on. Slightly annoying. Very late apex on this track. Oh, it gives you a beep when you need to change gear. That is so cool. Right, so acceleration rise, nothing crazy before hot hatch. Very good. Brakes work very well. Down into second, right-hander. Late apex for this. Power out. Bit of understeer, of course. 280 horsepower going to the front wheels. But the traction does feel pretty good, thanks to the full control. This track is awesome. It's just been repaved. A bit wobbly under braking, but the brakes do feel very solid. Brembo brakes. Turning for a front wheel drive car is fantastic. Alright, tight chicane here, down into second. One in. Switch it up. Bit of understeer. Out onto the right. Onto the curb. Or a hot hatch like this. It honestly does feel very composed and very controllable. It feels at home on a track like this. Now, of course, as I said, it does have a bit of understeer, but that is to be expected. Nothing crazy, and not as much as I was expecting, really. It does feel a little bit stiffer with this race chassis, which is quite nice. Doesn't sound amazing. With the manual, you don't get any of the pops or any of that jazz. The steering, still, I feel feels a bit dead. I would want more feeling through it. I can't really feel how much into it. The brakes feel solid. These have been being hammered on track all day long, and the brakes aren't fading. They're still very, very strong. And there's not too much body roll. The only thing which I feel is really detracting from the experience is the steering a bit. It doesn't feel, it's not what I expected or would necessarily want. I think the power is just right, because yes, it could be a bit more powerful, could be a bit faster, but I think you would just end up understeering all over the place and not having quite as natural of an experience. The pedals are a bit far away for heel and toe, I feel. They're not quite where you want them to be. This is definitely the one to go for, the race chassis, manual gearbox. Feels so much more honest than the DCT Sport chassis car, and there's less body roll. You can feel, even though 10% doesn't sound like a lot, it does make a difference, especially on track like this. But overall, Renault Sport with the Mégane RS have come out with a great product, because if you're looking for this for the road, then it's great, because you can really daily this. But if you're a track guy, you're going to have a lot of fun in this car as well. And it looks good. Every car, no car is perfect, and this certainly is not. But they've done a lot better than a lot of other people in this hot hatch segment. So, well done to them. Saying this as I'm coming to the finish line. It's a very well-rounded car, and somehow they've managed to disguise some of the weight quite nicely. Would I buy one of these? Well, honestly, right now, if I was in the market for a hot hatch, I think this is, in my opinion, the best looking one there is. And it drives lovely. It's very good. It is very good. But I haven't fallen in love with it, if that makes sense. I respect it. Almost a bit like what happened when I drove the completely different cars, but when I drove the McLaren 720S. I respect the car a lot. I think it's very, very good, very competent in everything that it does. There are a few things here and there which aren't ideal, like in this car, for example, the steering. But it's lacking a bit of character, which I feel maybe old Mégane RSs used to have more, although I haven't really experienced them. Understeer. It is still quite fun. The one to look out for, though, will be launching at the end of this year in September, will be the trophy version of this. Now that will have 400 Newton meters and 300 brake horsepower. So if I was in the market for this, even though I'm not a very patient person, but I would try and be patient and wait for that, because I feel like that will maybe add what is missing. The base is really good for this car. There's a little something missing, and I feel like when they get that done. But well done, Renault Sport. You've come out with a fantastic product, and you've delivered on everything people were